Hey guys, okay, I got a lot to cover on this one. Got you over here at the ACE last 7 days. Remember, I've been showing you that the phi angle has been indicating a connection between the Earth and the Sun because it's around the 220 or below mark. 220 being the new 180. But as you can see, around 0100 UTC, all of a sudden we jump back to a backside connection. Here it is here on Discover, which is just on the 1 day. So these are all the hours. Here's the 0100, 0129. That's when we started making a backside connection again. Pretty solid. I mean, it's up in the 350 plus range with a few fluctuations that drop below. And then at 0700 UTC today, looks like it dropped back to more of an Earth connect, Earth-Sun connect, but then it went right back to Nemesis. And looks to me like it's maybe going to stay there for a while. Here's what I think happened. Remember yesterday I showed you all that density that was building up in front of the planet, all the way out to as far as 19 Earth radii? Well, as you can see, the density's way down now once we made that connect. And remember, I showed that the pressure was low, but now the pressure's way up on both sides, front and back. And the solar wind speed wasn't fluctuating. Solar wind speed wasn't fluctuating on the one I showed you yesterday, the velocity. But now we're getting waves of velocity flowing through. Whereas yesterday it was waves of density, if you recall. So here's what I think happened. Once we made that connect back to Nemesis, and I believe it's a connect from the big planet out in front of Earth with Earth and Nemesis, and the Sun's kind of pretty much out of the picture for the most part, except for you saw those little sporadic connections. So you could see the bow shocks getting pressed way down again because we get that direct connect with Nemesis back here, Earth, and this big planet. So these three are all interacting together. The Sun is way out here somewhere. I mean, it's out of the picture for the present time, it would appear. And I'll show you another reason according to ACE, but this is what I think's happening. Now that these three are connected, now we're getting a lot more, the density went away because that just got kind of just like absorbed with the connection. But the solar wind speeds up from this big planet out here because its solar wind's being dragged toward Nemesis and vice versa. But I've looked at this. There's really not much missing time, or if any. Solar wind speeds being recorded inside the magnetosphere by these GOES 13, 14, and perhaps 15 satellites isn't too crazy. It went up to like 7 something. There's a 7. There's a 7. But and you can see, but I mean, look at the big difference. Yesterday, the bow shock was pressed way out here, past 15, secondary bow shock, not this first one, this magnetopause representation. And now it's being compressed way down below 10, even the secondary bow shock, well, close to 10. So there's the geospace one again. And this is all just the Y cut. equatorial plane, like a slice down the middle. These are the ISWA simulations, just in a different format. The Earth's being reversed, sun side's on the left on these, and so this is looking across the planet. This is the Z cut looking straight down on the planet. You can see, just like yesterday on the density waves getting thrown in, they weren't, some of them weren't all encompassing this entire vertical column here. You can see how they're different, they're broken. That's another indication that we're getting slung at it. The solar wind speed's being slung at us from that big planet out in front through its magnetic connections. There's the density way down. You saw it was way up yesterday. Pressure's way up, it was way down yesterday. So we got a lot of solar wind speed being flung at us from that planet out in front. And since there's a connection between Nemesis, big planet, and Earth, once again we're in the middle of a big squeeze play here. So although the solar wind speeds come up, it's nowhere near that high. It's still in the mid 450 range. Density's coming back down. So whenever we made that connect with Nemesis and the big planet, those three together connected, you could see that the density started to come down. Well, not exactly yet, but here it's definitely starting to come down. Because I think once the connect was made, then the influence from those three began pushing further out toward the L1 Lagrange point. Well, plus the density comes down when the solar wind speed comes up, so that might be more of a good explanation on that. I don't think we're going to tie that all together for right now, the three Nemesis connected with the backside. But here, as soon as we get that backside connection with Nemesis, get this strong low pressure system. I got you on Benchy Sky, air pressure, and I just punched, I've been looking at it. It seems like when we have strong backside connect, I went back through the archives. You can go all the way back if you want, and just punch up these pressure things. Whoops. Okay, so here's December. So let's just go to yesterday. So we didn't have the strong connect, and so we don't have that strong low. Notice when we have a strong connect with Nemesis, we got a some strong low pressure systems down here, and these are all magnetic field connections, in my humble opinion, for the most part, even up here. And you'll see that they just stay for days and days and weeks and weeks. But getting back to my connect point, see, there's no serious strong low pressure system, and this is when we had that strong Earth-Sun big planet connection. Nemesis wasn't in the picture. So that's December. I don't have time to show you everything. Well, let me punch up November real quick. So then if we go back to November, I think we had a few days in here where the connection fluctuated, and it was more backside with Nemesis connection in the big planet. But ever since this big planet's been in the picture, see there here, that's pretty sure this is when we had a strong 180 or below connect, 220 or below connect on the phi angle with on this phi angle. And here's solar ham. Here's the phi angle. I keep showing you this. It's in the description box. Punch it up. Check it out for yourself. Whenever the phi is 0, it means that connection, interplanetary magnetic field connections pointing from the Earth to the Sun, and if it's 180, pointing from the Sun to the Earth. And you can punch this here. You get the L1 Lagrange point. That's where the ACE and Discover satellites are. So whenever we have those strong lows, particularly in the southern hemisphere, I've been noticing on Bench's sky, then we have a strong connection with Nemesis, backside connection. And whenever connection is more sun side, those strong lows on the southern hemisphere go away. And pretty strong lows. So you can see there's been several weeks here where there's a pretty strong low, 943. You see the diagram only goes down to 940 and 1054. And look at the highs. I'll just put current day. So here's that latest backside connection. Look, it's below 940. So it's a strong connection. It's about the strongest I've seen. It's about the lowest I've seen this thing go. And on the other end of the spectrum, we got some serious high pressure systems. Yesterday they were even higher. They were in like the 9, almost up to 1054, but I'm running out of time. Here's the Enlil thing. This shows you the predicted solar wind speed and the plasma density. You can see Stereo B's got to still be up. They just aren't showing us pictures because they're showing us data from there. But anyway, they're showing the solar wind speed should be, and it's going up, but it's not above 500. I showed you it's 450 something. So I think the strong connect with Nemesis is and the big planet and Earth is pushing this back a little bit, solar wind speed and stuff. But anyway, that's not super important. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you one more thing. Here's the clouds. Now this has been showing up since at least April when I first recognized it. Magnetic resonant grid pattern in the clouds. This has been like this 24/7 pretty much. Yeah, 24/7. It's polka dot, pockmarked cloud pattern all over the planet. And it's also been showing up on HelioViewer. So it's, in my opinion, it's a magnetic resonant grid pattern. And if you look up magnetic, go back to my April 6th video and look up I referenced the magnetic resonant grid patterns in there. Clearly that's what's going on. We are gripped in between interplanetary magnetic field lines, these blue ones, and sun's in play and Nemesis is in play and Earth's in the middle. Now we get this big planet in the picture. You can see it throwing all this different velocities at us, represented by the different grid gradients in the color patterns, and then all these blue interplanetary magnetic field lines getting thrown our way. Still got the push out this way, but it's not as pronounced. Remember yesterday it was almost out to 20. Now it's back to 15, which is still pretty far out. So we're in the middle of a squeeze play. Basically, as you can see here, I mean, magnetopause is getting pushed way down. We're getting squeezed from the back. And what else can I show you here? Yeah, I covered a lot. Oh yeah, here's MLSO. This is yesterday. Looks like they found a way to strip off enough layers that they don't see everything flying around, but still leave enough layers on to hide most of those big, large, concentric magnetic grid or magnetic circle patterns that I showed you in yesterday's video, where there was at least 6 or 7. And you can see now that we get this Nemesis connection back, there's more radiation poking in. Okay, I run out of time. God bless, peace, and I'm out.